Hello and welcome to Peewee's tour. I'm on the Feed the Beast client using Direwolf 20, which has quite a fair number of mods attached to it. And, well, at the moment all you can see is a path going to nowhere. This is part of an ongoing thing. This was all desert biome, and I've dug out all the sand and replaced it with dirt in a vain attempt to pretty up the place. Obviously it doesn't work quite as well, as the grass takes on a different colour depending on its biome, and once you get into this biome, which is the forest biome, it comes the nice green, which I prefer. So at the moment that's what happens there. I'm going to now show you what I've been doing. It is a mess, I am sorry about that, but that's what it is. This is the rather attractive looking bridge I tried to construct to lead into a more prettified living area, which I haven't quite got around to doing. There's a little privet edge there. First of all, I'll show you my quarries. I'm going to have to leave it in creative mode so we can get there faster. This is one of my quarries, the smaller of the two. As you can see, it's quite happy digging away. For those of you who don't know, this is a quarry, which is one of the I believe it's the Buildcraft mods. Let's double check. Yeah, it's a Buildcraft mod. So that's where you do that. I'm using something called a Quarry Plus. Now the reason I'm using a Quarry Plus is, well, there's two reasons. One of which is you can actually enchant a Quarry Plus. So you can give it enchantments like you would a pickaxe. As you can see here, these are the 4 enchantments I've put on my Quarry Plus. The other benefit is you can plonk next to it the Pump Plus, which again you can enchant like that. And if you plonk it down next to it and provide it with power, you don't have to worry about providing water for your quarry in the event it finds lava, because it will pump the lava out for you, and you can then just get rid of it in your own time. But even if you don't want the liquids that pump up, the benefit is with a regular quarry, if I was to destroy this wall here, all this water here in this river would come cascading down into my area here. But as you can see, it's built a lattice of grids here, which it does automatically, providing that there's a Pump Plus attached to the quarry. And it will keep all liquids back, and that includes lava. So if it comes across lava, it will just mine it up for you, and if it comes across lava that's on the edge of your build area, it will hold it back for you. Very handy. Anyway, this is all very complicated. I tried to sort out tesseracts, but for some reason I can't get tesseracts to work properly for me. Probably because I'm doing something wrong. I can't figure out for the life of me what, but that's another story. As you can see, I do have a more complicated pipe rig here, which is if this thing found oil, but it hasn't, so I'm not using it. The other way, I've got the pump extracting any fluids it picks up to go into this void fluid pipe, which will automatically destroy the fluids, mostly because I can't be bothered to set up 14 tanks for different fluids. Now this hole here that I'm buried, that I'm working here, this was done with the original non-Quarry Plus, and as you can see it's gone all the way down there. It's quite nice, and I've done that, and this was the second one, like so. So I have done a bit of quarrying, but I thought I'd give these Quarry Pluses a try. I found it online, and I thought I'd give it a try, and so far I'm reasonably impressed. One of the reasons I like the Quarry Plus is that you're not limited to a 64 by 64 chunk. You can actually go 256 by 256, which I've done over there, which I'll fly over and show you. This is why I have to have it on creative mode, because otherwise it'd take me forever to get anywhere. And this is the second one, which is working in a 256 by 256. You can just about see this thing working in the distance. Even with this thing fully enchanted working round the clock, this will take a very, very, very long time to dig out. So basically a 256 by 256 quarry will essentially supply you for the rest of life in this game. As you can see, there's stuff coming through. You'll notice on this rig I haven't bothered with a chest. This is because the Quarry Plus has a very interesting feature, unlike the original Quarry. The original Quarry, if there was nothing to capture it, all of the stuff that it absorbed would come spitting out and it would go all over the place, and you'd have to pick it all up, otherwise it will get lost. With the Quarry Plus, it has its own internal storage system, which means which gives you the size of a wood chest, which gives you limited storage until you can hook it all up. This is very handy, and it works quite well. Now, I have got this all intricately rigged up, and I've got this very long ass golden pipe to transport any oil it discovers, but I'm thinking I might just get rid of it all. It did take an awful long time, and quite frankly there's no benefit to it. The one thing I don't like about the fluid pipes is there's no diamond fluid pipe, so you can't filter it. So you'll either get any liquid it finds or none at all. Now, this all works reasonably well. I'm quite happy with how it's all come out. You might notice I've got 3 different buildings going on here. So I will start here in the storehouse. This is where I've rigged up a very, very complex ME storage facility using applied energistics. I got the idea to experiment with this from my brother-in-law Liam, who set up a rudimentary one on the server that our friend Jimmy is using. He obviously isn't using creative to do it. So I got the idea for that, and Jimmy gave me the idea for using these display monitors like this from his castle in the sky. So big kudos to Jimmy there. So I got the idea for that. But essentially this negates the need for chests, and it can store more than just simple stacks. It's even better than barrels, because in barrels you only get like, X number of stacks of 64. At the moment I'm up to 80,000 cobblestone and 20,000 dirt, and it's still got plenty of room. Each of these little green lights indicates that I've got an empty drive of 64. So these are 64k storage units, and I'm in 3 of them, barely using them. The orange dot means that it's close to capacity. Red will mean it is at capacity. You might also notice that I have no ore, or very little ore. That's because of the automated workshop I've got going on back here. For those of you who are familiar with the with this stuff, this is stuff from thermal expansion using the pulverizer and the redstone furnace, which is being powered by this creative energy cell, because I can't be bothered to rig up a whole different power generation system to the one I'm already using, and I can't be bothered to run cables to it, and there seems to be some conflict of interest with the Buildcraft pipes and the thermal expansion stuff, so I thought I'd just stick with what I know. Anyway, I've got 3 pulverizer stations and 4 furnace stations just in here. What I've got it rigged up to do is, if it finds anything I don't particularly want stored as a whole unit, puts it in the pulverizer and turns it into the dust components, and then it goes straight into the furnace and turns it into ingots or its appropriate sub unit. This one was the first one I set up, which is to do gold and iron. Fairly straightforward. See, you don't even see it as it goes straight into the furnace. But it pulverized iron and goes straight into iron ingot, and then from there it goes straight back into the computer network as the bars. I don't have to come in here and empty this, it'll just go straight back into the network. This one's rigged up to deal with my wood problem, turns it into charcoal and goes back into the network as charcoal, like that. And this one was the second one I rigged up, which is to deal with the more annoying ores that I don't like. Silver ore and copper ore and tin and lead and vintium. Took ages to sort this one out. But you see it turns those into the corresponding ingots, and I do have this set up so that sometimes when it processes these ores, it'll give you precious metals, which goes into here, which then goes straight back into the network. So nothing is wasted. This is an interface. This is how things get from my quarries back into the network. Under here is, well, you can see there's an item duct which was running from my original quarries, and that will go into the item duct, comes out into that like it would be to a chest, but instead of having to sort it into 100,000 chests, it goes straight into the computer network, like so. And this is all the cabling to run the monitors, which showing the displays, which are updated every second. And this is the on-off switch for my power station, which I'll show you in a moment. I've just got one more part of this storage facility to show you, and it's not actually in the storage facility because I quickly ran out of room. This is just an access terminal. I quickly ran out of room, so I built an extension using microblocks. Yes, it is raining. You can see right where I'm on the edge of a biome, where the rain starts there and just sort of stops there. But I've got something from Industrial Craft. I've got a macerator and an electric furnace. The macerator I'm using to pulverize uranium into uranium dust, and the electric furnace is being used to help with furnacing. Now everything, with the exception of the ME unit in there, is being run from the power station. This massive rig here. Now, as you can see, I've got all these, I've got 10 of them, electrical engines. Now, the reason I'm using electrical engines is that they convert EU into MJ. And MJ, which is Minecraft joules, not megajoules, not to be confused. MJ is what powers most of the units. Industrial craft works off EU, thermal expansion works off MJ, and buildcraft works off MJ as well. Although you can power the quarries with EU as well, it's just not as efficient. And as you can see, I've upgraded them with circuit boards to improve their efficiency, so they work much more efficiently. And all of this goes down this one central power core, which is powering both my quarries. There's a slab missing there. Now all of this is coming from the generation. These are MFSUs from Industrial Craft. They're better than the power cells. They've got a much larger capacity, as you can see. These are, quite frankly, the best and only way to store energy being produced by this large building next door. Because the large building next door is producing so much power, you have to be able to store quite a large amount of it. As you can see, it makes these things go quite fast. This is my nuclear reactor, and I will not hide the fact that this is a pain in the arse to build and run. This is my nuclear reactor. Now, this building, I don't know whether you can see that, is 4 blocks deep by 4 blocks by 4 blocks because of what contains in here. It's obviously a nuclear reactor. Now, if this thing fails for some reason or another, it will explode and it will destroy your life. Basically, anything near it will take out. But because it's in this reinforced bunker, it won't do as much damage. Now, as you can see, this thing is powered by uranium, which is what you need the uranium dust for. And this is a very complex setup. And it produces 320 EU per tick, which is then being pumped into the MFSUs, which are on the other side of this wall here, and into the electrical engines, which are then converted into MJ to power everything else. Now, I won't kid you, this is a pain, because it will go through the uranium very quickly, and I haven't worked out how to rig up an automated pump system. It can be done, but I just haven't worked it out, where you can pump out the dead uranium core and replace it with live ones. But for the time being, I have to do that myself. So this is what you get when they run out, depleted uranium cores, and this is what you have to replace it with. Now, if you carry that on your person like that, you get radiated, which isn't very pleasant. If you're in survival mode, this will kill you in minutes. Very, very hard to deal with. Same as poisoning, basically. Anyway, that is how I'm doing everything. And as you can see, I've been doing this for a little while. Obviously this is how I enchanted the quarries. This is a little handy. You can enchant things on the anvil, so you put in spade there and then enchantment there, and you can do that. And you can put on all 4 on one thing, and then if you put it in here, you can transfer, it doesn't take it off it, but you can transfer onto new items, like that. This is how I did these. Now, as you can see, I'm not using that at the moment. And this is steel tank for oil. Haven't found very much oil. And this is the item pipes coming from the first quarry I showed you, and the rest of the other items are coming in to the thingy over here. Now I've got another interface with the pipes coming in under the building, like that, and it's all very, very efficient. Unseemly. This is what I've been doing. Now, as you can see, these doors do actually open on their own. There's actually a shrouded silent pressure plate there. And this is what I've produced, and I have quite a lot of it. There's a lot going on here. See, if you run quarries, you tend to get a lot of gack like this. Now, one of the things that is actually interesting, in a way, is if you put Silk Touch on your quarry, it will take whole blocks rather than naturally destroy them as you would in a normal mining. So, instead of getting the water shard, you get the whole bloody block, which at the moment you can't actually pulverize, which is really kind of annoying. But you also get the leaves and the whole hives. It was doing that with coal as well. You can actually stick coal or blocks in the pulverizer and you get double the amount of coal that you would from standard breaking it. However, you can set exceptions by using a list editor for as long as you enhance it with the thing you want to edit. In this case, which is Silk Touch. So if I go and show you, oh, the long way up. As you can see, this is a bit of a pain. I have and then I go continue here. You can add an exceptions list, and this enables you to say, okay, don't become Chamarite ore blocks, just give me the ore. Same with coal, diamond, and so on and so forth. It can get quite laborious doing it all the way through, but on the whole it does actually work out to be a little better to take the whole lot with Silk Touch, because you can then put it in a machine and get more than you would from standard breaking of the block. Not always true, but mostly it is true. And as you can see, I've been fairly busy. Not as much as some people, but still quite a lot. Considering I've had 2 quarries complete and I've got 2 more on the go, only 20 diamond is quite appalling actually. Anyway, as you can see, this is my complicated workout, and it has taken a hell of a long time to get this sorted out properly, but on the whole I'm quite pleased with it. Certainly better than my my other world, but I'm still not quite happy with the mess all this piping has done. But I can't get tesseracts to work for me the way I would like them to work, namely the power tesseract. For some reason I have an enormous problem with those. In fact, I might actually go and demonstrate it for you. So come in here. Okay, for the purposes of this, I will use the Buildcraft stuff. So you see it's a tesseract. There used to be separate ones for energy, items and liquid, but now it's combined in one. But you see I put pipe there, and then I put the tesseract down. That's supposed to connect to that, and it doesn't, and I don't know why it doesn't. But until I can work out why, I can't use the tesseract to send power, which is what I really would like to do. And I'm still struggling with the item one as well. But I've got the liquid ones to work. I have on my other game, I am importing lava from the Nether. In fact, I will pause recording now, and I will show you my other build. Just a moment. And we are back, and this is my older save, where I was doing a lot of experimenting on quarries, so that I could help Donna out on the server. One thing I would honestly tell you to avoid doing is setting up your quarry near this tainted rubbish, because the quarry just goes spastic when it does that, because it likes clear blocks. So the quarry will take forever to do anything, because it constantly comes back to clear the taintedness, and the taint is virtually impossible to get rid of. And I can't be bothered with it, so anyway, I don't play this one much anyway. I did a lot of experimenting on this map. I did try to build a nuclear reactor here, but I never got it working. Probably because I didn't know how to build it at the time. I do know how to do it, and this would be far too small and flimsy for such a thing. This is my nether portal, which I'll talk about in a minute. And this is the power station, which is built on the site of an original quarry. Just covered it because it helps with the piping. This is a tank full of lava, which I'm using to power some magmatic dynamos, which are fueling energy cells, which in theory is powering quite a lot of stuff. Again, this wasn't the best builds in the world ever, so I'll come down here. First thing you'll notice is I've got a Tinker's Construct forge, which I don't actually use. When you do pulverizing and redstone furnace, it works better. But I was still learning at this point. I was trying out Tinker's Construct so that I could understand it better, and it's so convoluted and such a pain in the backside, I just stopped bothering. As you can see, lots of things going on here. It's not anywhere near as intricate as the other build near me. And obsidian chests, because I have a lot of obsidian. Wonder why that is. Anyway, this was the house that Jack built. And I built this waterfall rather stupidly. Just got bored and I decided to build a waterfall. Looks quite pretty. In terms of house, this is probably my favourite build. Very, very, very complex to do, but I still did it. Yeah, anyway. I was, before quarrying, trying to do this the old-fashioned way with mines. And I did get all the way down here. To here, and then I decided I'd investigate quarries. And I wasn't going to set up a quarry this far down, there's no point. So I came back up here. And I set up the quarry that you've seen there. That's the second quarry, where I was learning about landmarks. This is the control area for sorting. So again, Donna taught me how to use these wireless transmitters. Thank you, Donna. And this is the normal pulverizer rig, which I've done wrong because you're supposed to power it from underneath, but never mind. We live and we learn. Or at the very least I'm supposed to change the colours around. I can't be bothered. I'm not using it at the moment. And then this is my original sorting. Now, as you can see, I'm using barrels, which doesn't really... it works. In its way, it works. But you might notice that quite a lot of the stuff is going down here. Well, that's because I've got so much cobblestone and dirt, I don't know what to do with it. So it goes all the way down here, and then at the very bottom there is a void pipe which will destroy the unwanted blocks. And I'm using stone transport pipes rather than cobblestone because they're a little faster. As you can see, they're moving a little bit faster. It's also helped by the fact that I'm using two redstone engines to power the extraction tube, and it's going into a gold one which speeds it up and then brings it into normal. This was the original help. Again, it's not brilliant, I'm not very pleased with it, but one thing I am pleased with is the use of tesseracts to build this lava tank. Now, in order to do that, I went to the nether. And this is... this is the, for those who haven't been, this is the nether. Yeah, it's not very friendly here at all. And in order to keep this thing constantly pumping, you have to put a chunk loader down, which keeps everything going quite nicely, like that. If you put the chunk loader down, it keeps everything that is in this lasered area going when you come back. So none of your machines disappear and stop working. This is the Tesseract that's actually working, the one and only that I've ever managed to get working. I've got 4 redstone engines using on a standard pump, which is pumping lava quite handily from the nether to my lava tank that you've already seen. that's my original build, and as you can see I spent far more time working on how it looked rather than how anything worked, which was my downfall because I ended up spending far much more time looking at how things would look, even though it's just single player, and as a result I ran out of space and this all looks awful. Sorry, a bit lag there, but this was good for learning and experimenting with things I'd seen on the original server. So I was able to help Donna with things later on. Ongoing efforts will be to learn how to use Railcraft, so that we can do something like that for Jimmy's server. A few other bits and pieces, but for the time being, this is what I've been doing with my time. And not imagine that I spend an inordinate amount of time playing Minecraft, and this is why I don't have much to show for it, but it is amazingly time consuming. Oh, one thing I want to show something called Marker Plus. Now this is used with Quarry Plus, but I imagine you probably use it with normal quarries, since they're not. This is like a landmark, but if you put a redstone torch next to it, you get this. Guidelines, which is very, very helpful. I don't know if it does it with the landmarks. Let's just learn. Yeah, you see, if you put a redstone torch next to the landmark, you get the guidelines, which is very, very helpful, and something we can use later on. The Marker Plus shows it goes as far as the 256, and the landmark presumably as far as the 64. Anyway, that's my video. Thank you for watching.